released a statement on Facebook today saying, quote, there is no moral relativism when it comes to neo-Nazis, and, quote, we cannot allow the slightest ambiguity on such a fundamental question. I want to bring in another constituent of yours, Eric Kramer. He grew up in Racine County. He's a financial analyst. Eric.
Hello, Speaker Ryan. You've come out and forcefully condemned bigotry and racism, but you have not come out and, well, sorry. Are you willing to come out and forcefully condemn Trump's statements, such as Bob Corker and Mitt Romney have?
Yeah. So let me get into this. And I was looking forward to this moment right here that Eric have this conversation with you. First of all, the President and I spoke on Monday morning about the need for moral clarity, about the need at this very difficult time in our country to have a morally clear message to absolutely and singularly condemn this repulsive bigotry. He agreed with that, and he did that later that day on Monday. And I thought his speech on Monday was pitch perfect. Then the next day, I think it was in New York on an infrastructure press conference, in answer to a question, I think he made comments that were much more morally ambiguous, much more confusing. And I do think he could have done better. I think he needed to do better. I actually think what he did 2 days ago in commending the peaceful protests against the hate in Boston was a good start. And I think just what I heard, I don't know, 25 minutes ago, was exactly what a president needs to say and what we needed to hear. So I do believe that he messed up in his comments on Tuesday when it sounded like a moral equivocation, or at the very least moral ambiguity, when we need extreme moral clarity. Let me just back up for a second and make one or two other points. It should not be about the president. This is not about Republicans or Democrats. This shouldn't be about some vote in Congress or some partisan issue. This is so much more important than that. This issue speaks to humanity, our country, our society, our culture. And so the point that I think is bigger than getting into a spat with other people for whatever reason, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, it doesn't matter if you're pro-life or pro-choice, it doesn't matter if you want to be drilling for oil or leave it in the ground, or you want big government or smaller government. Every single one of us needs to unify and stand up against this repulsive, this repugnant, vile bigotry that is so important. And so that's the kind of unity and that's the kind of moral clarity that each and every one of us need to display, including, and of course, the president. I think we heard that this evening. But all of us have got to do more. What I worry about in this situation is that we get numbed to this, that we sort of start to lose our sense of outrage against these white supremacists and these neo-Nazis, that we see it over and over on TV and we think, oh, yeah, just that again. No, 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 no.
But
no,
we don't.
But my point is, we've got to keep our moral outrage, and we all have to stand up and speak out against this kind of bigotry so that it is never normalized, so that we don't give these people oxygen that they're looking for. They are the fringe. Let's keep them at the fringe. And that's why I think we have to have this moral clarity. And I'm pleased with the things he just said tonight to add clarity to the confusion that I think he gave us on Tuesday.
I think the issue that Eric was expressing is the reluctance to criticize President Trump for specifically saying things like very fine people were marching in that rally that had swastikas and anti-Semitic chants. And there were not any very fine people in that rally.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And it wasn't morally ambiguous. It was morally wrong.
Yeah.
That's what the president said.
Let me just add to what you just said. I have a hard time believing if you're standing in a crowd to protest something and you see, you know, all these anti-Semitic slogans and the Heil Hitlers and the swastikas, that you're good with that and you're a good person. You're not a good person if you're there. That's just so very clear. So I totally agree with that. And that's why I think, yeah, it was not only morally ambiguous, it was equivocating. And that was wrong. That's why I think it was very, very important that he has since then cleared that up, and I think it was important that he did that tonight.
Do you think he's done enough?
I don't think any of us have done enough. I think we all have a lot more to do. I think we all got a lot more to do in this area, and I think we have a lot more to do to make sure that these guys don't get normalized.